Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Whitney Ward. We begin tonight as the boyfriend of the woman who was shot and killed in a North Spokane road rage incident gave his testimony in court today. Spokane police arrested Richard Huff back in May of 2021 for second-degree murder. His trial started this week. Huff said he shot the woman in self-defense, claiming that she was armed with a knife and threatening to cut him. Police, though, did not find a knife at the scene. They later learned the driver of her car took a putty knife that she had before he left the scene. That driver is the victim's boyfriend. Anthony Olson gave his testimony today, and he described what he saw after the victim got out of the car to confront Huff.
They were arguing, and I heard a pop, and I told somebody I was screaming, "Call 911, somebody, call 911. And I freaked, and I had warrants, and I left.
Olson also admitted he took the tool the victim had dropped on the ground before driving away. He also told the jury he did in fact slam on his brakes while driving in front of the car the suspect was a passenger in. Olson says he did that to upset the people in that car behind him. All right, let's transition now, taking a look at the forecast. Very cold out there. Our chief meteorologist, Jeremy Legoo, joining us now. We saw a little bit of snow to start our day. Do you think we'll have a repeat later this week?
We might see flurries, but I don't think accumulation is in the forecast.
Okay.
Not until maybe, this is where it gets weird, maybe next week. Yesterday I said on TV that this could quite possibly be the most inaccurate forecast I've ever put together. That still holds true. We'll talk why in just a second, but for now, notice clearing. Clearing plays a big role in our temperatures. Temperatures are going to drop because of that clearing. Right now we sit at 28 degrees and we've kind of been close to there all day long with a little bit of freezing fog to start the day and then kind of hanging on to that thick stratus deck. As that moves out, our temperatures are going to drop, but in places like Pullman or Deer Park, where you have really low visibility right now, you're not going to get that same drop in temperatures. Moses Lake, similar story there, but look at those temperatures in those locations. You're quite a bit cooler in Deer Park and down in the Palouse and over in Moses Lake because of some of that fog. Remember I said fog is kind of the wild card here. It remains the wild card for the next few days, and that's why our temperatures could swing 5 to 10 degrees in any direction based on timing of the fog. The good news is we've gotten rid of some of that snow that moved through earlier this morning, and as we head through the next couple of days, it's all about low-level moisture and patchy fog. We have the chance of flurries Saturday, but then as we get into Sunday, Monday, the inaccuracy shifts. We are either talking a serious amount of snow as we get a disturbance moving in. That could be feet of snow across the inland Northwest, or we're talking some serious cold. We cannot get both, and we're going to talk odds of each one coming up in the full forecast.
How's that for a tease? Thank you very much, Jeremy. All right, just into our newsroom now here. Within the last hour, we're learning of the death of a Fairchild airman. Airman First Class Sammy Teffa was found dead in Stevens County yesterday. The cause of death is still under investigation. Now, of course, this is a developing story. We have reached out to Fairchild to learn more. We'll make sure to bring you updates as we have them. We are also just learning Avista is now working with Spokane police to find out who is responsible for an outage in downtown Spokane overnight. So Avista says someone who was not an Avista employee gained access to the Post Street substation. It's not clear right now if that person who broke into the facility is responsible for the outage. And the outage itself only lasted about 3 hours. Power has since been restored to all customers. Avista says it's going to continue to work with police, though, to fully investigate what happened. Some good news tonight for fans of the South Hill Grill. The restaurant has shared that it would be closing to make way for a new potential Chick-fil-A location. Well, now the restaurant is still closing there, but a new location is set to open up just up the hill. KREM 2's Janelle Finch is sharing what's next for the Spokane favorite.
KREM 2 obtained documents outlining why a proposed Chick-fil-A near 29th and Regal would not meet the city of Spokane's criteria. The application was for a quick-serve restaurant with a drive-through and parking lot with up to 113 parking stalls. The city says only a maximum number of 20 stalls would fit based on the size of the building proposed. According to City Communications Manager Kirsten Davis, Chick-fil-A's plans for the location didn't meet city codes, and Tuesday, the business missed its final day to appeal the decision. Still, As soon as news began to circulate that Chick-fil-A could be coming, general manager of the South Hill Grill prepared for a new chapter.
We're still the South Hill Grill, baby. We're just a little bit higher on the hill.
South Hill Grill will move to the old Rock City Grill location near 57th and Regal. General Manager Chelsea Struck said the Chick-fil-A rumors meant for a rocky and surprising transition.
Everything kind of just turned upside down suddenly. The news hit that like the Chick-fil-A was coming in or whatever, and it kind of blindsided us. Like, we had no idea that that was even happening.
Struck did not want Chick-fil-A rumors to shut down her restaurant.
The outreach of the community and how devastated everybody was kind of what made us be like, we don't think that this can be the end. Like, we can't close down. We need to relocate.
Rock City Grill closed in November, opening a new door for the South Hill Grill. The business to replace the South Hill Grill will have to account for the busy area. The city of Spokane wants to keep that intersection walkable, transit-friendly, and safe. Management says the South Hill Grill's final day at its 29th Avenue location is scheduled for December 24th, and its new location is set to open in January. From the South Hill, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Well, Second Harvest has suspended food deliveries for more than 80 of their food bank partners across the region. That delivery suspension is expected to last at least through the end of January. Second Harvest says the shortage of food is not a surprise. Eric Williams is the Community Partnerships Director at Second Harvest. He says the main reason is that inflation is causing demand to spike.
We understand. We're really frustrated too. I've had some calls from some really frustrated people, and I tell them, you're right. We're frustrated. We wish that things were a lot different.
Williams said even though they have suspended delivery operations, they are continuing their mobile food banks. Those are the trucks that are retrofitted to carry enough food for about 300 families that then drive to our outlying rural communities. It has now been more than a month since someone murdered 4 University of Idaho students in a home just off campus. The murders of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Maddie Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves happened in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. And Moscow police still do not have a suspect or a person of interest, leaving the victims' families now without answers about who killed their kids and why. Our Boise affiliate talked to a spokesperson with the Moscow Police Department who told her right now speculation is really an issue for investigators as they continue to sift through tips.
It's been 1 month since the murders. How is the Moscow Police Department feeling about its progress?
Well, a month, it feels like a long time. It's hard to believe we're here. Of course, it's hard to believe this even happened to begin with.
The brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students shook the small community of Moscow, Idaho.
There were friends trying to find out who exactly was inside the house, some family members that arrived on scene. It was incredibly hard for the community.
On November 13th, a person or people stabbed Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonsalves, and Maddie Mogan to death in a house just off campus. Moscow PD Captain Roger Lanier recalled that horrific day in a pre-recorded YouTube video the department posted Tuesday.
The scene wasn't chaos, the neighborhood, but it was very, very somber.
Police spokesperson Robbie Johnson says they still don't have a suspect or person of interest in this case.
The effort level is still really high. We're seeing progress every single day.
Last week, Moscow PD released a big piece of information. They're looking for whoever was in a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra, like this one. The car was seen near 1122 King Road, where the murders happened, around the time of the crime.
That vehicle was in the right place at the right time in those early morning hours of November 13th. So it just stands to reason that there's someone or people in that vehicle or someone associated with it that could have valuable information.
Johnson says while they've received many tips about the car,
we don't have much more information to report about the car.
They're still looking for more.
There's been a lot of misinformation, a lot of rumors out there. How are those impacting the investigation?
One thing that's happening right now is people look to the rumors and speculation, and then they generate tips or things that they want to report about things that may not have even occurred or not factual.
Because so many tips are coming in, they're all being routed to the FBI tip line.
The FBI, Idaho State Police, they're helping the Moscow Police Department. Will the number of resources stay the same for the foreseeable future?
Absolutely. Everyone is still working. And of course, we have people across the country that are available to assist and are helping with leads right now.
In other news, the Spokane County Commissioners voted to add a measure now to the 2023 general election ballot to make a criminal justice improvement, specifically to raise funding for the construction of a new community corrections center or jail. Commissioners proposed that resolution to address overcrowding and to offer a new treatment model. Oregon Governor Kate Brown announced she will commute all death sentences to life in prison before she leaves office. The new order goes into effect today, and it will apply to all 17 people in the state who are currently on Oregon's death row. Brown has been very vocal about her opposition to the death penalty since taking office.
Secondly, its impact is inequitable, depending upon where you live in the state and in this country. And third, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't prevent violent crime, and it costs taxpayers thousands, millions of dollars.
The death penalty is currently legal in the state. However, Oregon carried out its last execution 25 years ago.